The morning sun was bright over Haven Prime as Commander Park Hyun-woo checked his rifle for the third time. The small human colony planet was peaceful and quiet, with only 10,000 people living there. Most of them worked in the big mining operations that dug valuable metals from deep underground. It was the perfect place for secret military training far away from busy space routes where enemies might see them. Hyun-woo was 35 years old and had been a Navy SEAL for 15 years. He was not very tall, but his muscles were strong from years of hard training. His black hair was cut short in military style, and his dark eyes were always watching everything around him. Today, he was leading his best team through combat exercises in the rocky hills outside the main settlement. The training was going well when everything changed. Kim Jae-min was setting up explosive charges on a fake enemy bunker when he suddenly stopped and pointed at the sky. Lee So-jin, who was their best sniper, put down her rifle and stared upward with her mouth open. Choi Min-ho dropped his communication equipment and just stood there looking scared. Huge black ships were appearing in the blue sky above them. The ships were longer than city blocks and covered with strange symbols that glowed red in the sunlight. There were 5 of them, and they moved without making any sound at all. The ships just hung there in the air like giant metal clouds that should not exist. Hyun-woo felt his heart beating fast, but his training kept him calm. He had prepared for many different types of enemies, but never alien visitors from space. Still, a good soldier adapts to new situations quickly. He grabbed his radio and tried to contact the colony base, but only heard static noise coming from the speaker. The alien ship stayed in the sky for several minutes doing nothing. Then one smaller ship separated from the largest vessel and started coming down toward the rocky hills where the human team was training. This smaller ship was still huge compared to any human aircraft, but it moved through the air like it weighed nothing at all. Hyun-woo made quick hand signals to his team, telling them to spread out and take cover behind the large rocks scattered around the training area. Whatever was in that ship might be friendly, but a smart soldier always prepared for the worst possibility. The SEAL commander found good cover behind a boulder that was taller than he was and waited to see what would happen next. The alien ship landed about 200 meters away with a soft humming sound. A door opened in the side of the craft, and steam came out, making it hard to see clearly. Then a figure stepped out of the ship, and Hyun-woo felt his blood turn cold when he saw what had come to visit their planet. The creature was huge, maybe 8 feet tall, with long, powerful arms that ended in claws instead of fingers. Its skin looked like dark metal armor that had grown naturally from its body. The head was long and narrow, with bright yellow eyes that seemed to glow in the shadows. When it moved, each step made the ground shake slightly under its enormous weight. The alien warrior walked slowly across the rocky ground, looking around like it was searching for something specific. In one hand, it carried a weapon that looked like a rifle, but was much larger and had strange blue lights running along its length. The creature moved with the confidence of someone who had never lost a fight in their entire life. Hyun-woo watched from behind his rock as the alien stopped and seemed to sniff the air. Then those yellow eyes turned directly toward his hiding spot, as if the creature could smell him or hear his heartbeat. The alien began walking straight toward the boulder where the SEAL commander was hiding, and there was no doubt it knew exactly where he was. The creature stopped about 20 meters away and spoke in a voice that sounded like rocks grinding together. The words were not English, but somehow Hyun-woo could understand them, as if the alien had some kind of translation device built into its armor. "Your species will serve the Vextar Empire, or your species will die," the alien said while pointing its huge weapon at the rock where Hyun-woo was hiding. "I am Kralvek's greatest warrior of the Advanced Scout Division. I challenge the strongest human fighter to single combat to decide your fate. If you win, your people will die quickly. If you lose, your people will become slaves for 1,000 years. Hyun-woo realized this was probably the most important moment in human history. Everything that happened next would decide whether his species lived or died. The alien seemed very confident, almost bored, like this was just routine work that it had done many times before on other planets with other species. The SEAL commander stepped out from behind the boulder with his rifle ready, but not aimed directly at the alien yet. He was much smaller than Kralvex, but 15 years of military training had taught him that size was not everything in combat. Speed and intelligence often mattered more than strength, and this alien creature seemed to rely mainly on being bigger and stronger than its enemies. "I accept your challenge," Hyun-woo said in a calm voice, even though his heart was pounding like a drum inside his chest. "But we fight by human rules, not alien rules. No weapons, just hand-to-hand combat. Winner takes all." The alien warrior made a sound that might have been laughter. It threw its weapon aside and flexed those huge clawed hands like it was getting ready to tear something apart. Kralvex had probably killed dozens of alien fighters from other worlds and expected this human to be just as easy to defeat as all the others had been. What Kralvex did not know was that human fighters were different from every other species the Vextar Empire had ever conquered. Humans did not just rely on strength or speed or natural weapons like claws and fangs. They used their minds to find weaknesses in their enemies, and they never gave up no matter how hopeless things looked. The two fighters began to circle each other slowly like wild animals preparing to attack. The alien was confident and relaxed while the human was tense and ready to move in any direction. Around them, the rocky hills were completely silent, except for the sound of their footsteps on the hard ground. This was the moment when everything would change for both species, though neither fighter knew it yet. In the next few minutes, one of them would win and one would lose, but the consequences would reach far beyond this small planet to affect entire civilizations across the galaxy. The fight between Kralvex and Park Hyun-woo lasted only 3 minutes, but those 3 minutes changed the future of two entire species. The alien warrior attacked first, just as the human had expected. Kralvex moved with incredible speed, trying to grab the much smaller human with his huge clawed hands, but Hyun-woo was not where the alien thought he would be. The SEAL commander rolled to the side at the last second, and the alien warrior crashed into the boulder behind him. Pieces of rock flew everywhere as Kralvex hit the stone with enough force to crack it down the middle. The alien turned around quickly with anger burning in his yellow eyes. No creature had ever avoided his first attack before. Every other species the Vextar Empire had fought would have been crushed instantly by that opening move. This human was different, and that difference made Kralvex furious. Hyun-woo stayed calm, even though he could feel his heart beating like thunder in his chest. The alien was much stronger and faster than any human, but it fought with simple, direct attacks. It relied on power instead of strategy, and that gave the human soldier an advantage he could use. Kralvex attacked again, swinging his massive fists down toward where Hyun-woo was standing. The human dropped flat on the ground and swept, his leg hard against the alien's ankles. The huge warrior lost his balance and stumbled forward, giving Hyun-woo the chance he needed. The SEAL rolled behind the alien and jumped onto its back, wrapping his arms around the creature's thick neck. Kralvex tried to reach back and grab the human, but his arms were too bulky to bend that way. For the first time in his long life, the alien warrior found himself in a position where his strength meant nothing. Hyun-woo squeezed harder, cutting off the alien's air supply. He had learned this technique years ago during training and had used it against human enemies many times. He did not know if aliens breathed the same way humans did, but the creature's struggles were getting weaker, so it seemed to be working. Kralvex made desperate gasping sounds as he staggered around trying to throw the human off his back. He crashed into rocks and tried to scrape against the cliff walls, but Hyun-woo held on tight. The alien's movements became slower and less controlled as his brain stopped getting oxygen. Finally, the huge warrior fell to his knees and then collapsed face down on the rocky ground. Hyun-woo held the chokehold for 30 more seconds to make sure the alien was completely unconscious, then rolled away and stood up breathing hard. But Kralvex was not just unconscious. The alien's body was not designed to survive without air, for as long as a human body could. While humans could recover from being choked unconscious, the alien warrior's brain had been damaged too badly. He was dying, and both fighters knew it. The alien warrior used his last strength to reach for a small device attached to his armor. His clawed fingers pressed buttons on what looked like a communication device. With his final breath, Kralvex spoke into the device in his own language, but somehow Hyunwoo could still understand the words. Warning to all Vextar forces, the dying alien gasped. The humans are dangerous fighters with advanced combat skills. They are a serious threat to the Empire. Recommend immediate total destruction of their entire species before they can develop space travel and challenge our dominance. Use maximum force. Show no mercy. They must all die. Then Kralvex stopped breathing, and the communication device went silent. Hyunwoo stared down at the dead alien warrior and realized that his victory had just made everything much worse. Instead of saving humanity, he might have doomed his entire species to extinction. The other members of his team came running over from their hiding places. Kim Jae-min looked at the dead alien with wide eyes. Lee So-jin kept her rifle pointed at the body, even though it was obviously not moving anymore. Choi Min-ho immediately started working on the alien communication device, trying to understand how it worked. We need to contact Earth right now, Hyunwoo said. Whatever this thing just told his friends up there, it did not sound good for us. Min-ho, can you figure out how to use their communication system? Choi Min-ho was the smartest person on their team when it came to electronic equipment. He had grown up taking apart radios and computers before joining the military. Now he was studying the alien device like his life depended on understanding it, which it probably did. The device is still connected to their ships, Min-ho said after several minutes of careful work. I can hear voices speaking in their language. They sound very angry and excited about something. I think they are making plans. Can you translate what they are saying? Hyunwoo asked. Some of it, Min-ho replied. They keep using words that might mean destruction and elimination and total war. It sounds like they are calling for more ships to come here. A lot more ships. How much time do we have before those ships arrive? Min-ho listened to the alien voices for a long time before answering. Based on what I can understand, they are talking about something happening in 2 hours. I think that means 2 hours until they attack our colony. Hyunwoo felt cold fear run down his back like ice water. 2 hours was not enough time to evacuate 10,000 colonists. Even if they had ships big enough to carry everyone, there was nowhere safe to run. If the aliens wanted to destroy humanity, they would hunt down every human settlement in space. The SEAL commander looked up at the alien ships still hanging in the sky above them. More ships were probably already on their way, bringing enough firepower to turn Haven Prime into a ball of fire, all because one overconfident alien warrior had been humiliated by losing to a human fighter. But maybe there was still hope. Hyunwoo activated his emergency communication system and sent a priority message directly to Earth. If humanity was going to die today, at least the home planet would know what happened, and maybe they could prepare for what was coming next. This is Commander Park Hyunwoo reporting first contact with hostile alien species. He spoke into his radio. Enemy has superior technology and is planning imminent attack on human targets. Recommend immediate activation of all defensive protocols. We may not survive, but Earth must be ready for what comes after us. Deep inside a secret military base hidden beneath the Rocky Mountains, Admiral Song Kyung-hee was drinking coffee and reading reports when the most important message in human history arrived on her computer screen. The message from Commander Park. Hyunwoo made her drop her coffee cup, which shattered on the floor, sending hot liquid everywhere. For 30 years, Admiral Song had been preparing for this exact moment. She was 60 years old with gray hair and sharp, intelligent eyes that missed nothing. Most people in the military knew her as a tough commander who ran training programs for space defense. What they did not know was that she controlled the most secret project in human history. Guardian Protocol had been created 40 years ago when scientists first proved that faster-than-light travel was possible. Smart leaders on Earth realized that if humans could eventually travel between stars, then other species probably already could. They decided humanity needed to be ready for visitors who might not be friendly. The project had cost trillions of dollars and involved the smartest scientists and engineers from every country on Earth. They built weapons and defense systems in secret locations throughout the solar system. Even most government leaders did not know how powerful Earth's hidden military had become. Admiral Song pressed a red button on her desk that she had hoped never to use. Alarms started ringing throughout the secret base as hundreds of military personnel ran to their emergency stations. For decades, they had trained for this moment when humanity would face its first real test against alien enemies. Guardian Control. "This is Admiral Song speaking," she announced over the base communication. "System. We have confirmation of hostile alien contact at Haven Prime Colony. All Guardian Protocol assets are now active. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill. All units prepare for immediate combat operations. In hidden bases on the Moon and Mars, human soldiers climbed into spacecraft that had never been seen by civilian populations. These ships were faster and more heavily armed than anything the public knew existed. They had been built using technology that Earth's best scientists had spent decades developing just in case this day ever came. Dr. Yoon Chang-soo was the brilliant physicist who had designed most of Earth's secret weapons. He was 55 years old with thick glasses and hands that were always covered in ink from writing equations. When the Guardian Protocol alarm sounded, he ran to the main control center where Admiral Song was coordinating humanity's response. "Admiral, we have detected 12 large alien vessels approaching Haven Prime," Dr. Yoon reported while checking his computer screens. "Based on their size and energy readings, each ship carries enough firepower to destroy an entire planet. The colonists have less than 2 hours before the bombardment begins. How long until our response fleet reaches Haven Prime?" Admiral Song asked. "Our fastest ships can be there in 90 minutes, Dr. Yoon replied. "But Admiral, those alien ships are much larger than anything we expected to face. Our weapons were designed to fight enemies similar to ourselves, not creatures with technology this advanced." Admiral Song studied the tactical displays showing alien ship positions and human fleet movements. The numbers looked bad, but not impossible. Humanity had one major advantage that the aliens did not know about. Earth's military had been designed specifically to fight superior enemies using speed intelligence and surprise attacks. "What about the Prometheus weapons?" Dr. Yoon Admiral Song asked. "Are they ready for combat use?" Dr. Yoon looked nervous when she mentioned the Prometheus weapons. Those were humanity's most dangerous creation devices, so powerful they could crack planets apart from the inside. They had been built as a last resort, for situations exactly like this one. But using them would change everything. "The Prometheus systems are fully operational," Admiral Dr. Yoon said quietly. "But if we use them, there will be no going back. Every alien species in the galaxy will know that humans are willing and able to destroy entire worlds. It will mark us as a threat that must be eliminated. Then we better make sure we eliminate the threat first," Admiral Song replied. "Contact Captain Park Ji-hoon on the Soul's Revenge. Tell him to take the assault fleet directly to Haven Prime at maximum speed. And Dr. Yoon, prepare the Prometheus weapons for immediate deployment. If these aliens want to see what humans do, when threatened, they are about to get a very educational experience." Throughout the solar system, hidden military bases came alive with activity that had been planned and practiced for decades. Weapon platforms that looked like asteroids powered up their systems and began tracking the alien fleet. Defense satellites disguised as space junk activated targeting computers and loaded ammunition that could punch through alien armor. Captain Park Ji-hoon received his orders aboard the Soul's Revenge while his ship was hidden behind one of Jupiter's moons. He was Admiral Song's best fleet commander, a man who had spent 20 years training for space combat that everyone hoped would never happen. Now that hope was gone, and it was time to find out if human technology could match alien power. The Souls. Revenge was Earth's most advanced warship, built with technology that pushed the limits of human engineering. Its weapons could fire faster than light itself, and its armor was designed to absorb energy blasts that would vaporize normal materials. Most importantly, it was completely invisible to the kind of sensors that most alien species used. Captain Park read his mission orders and felt his blood turn cold. He was supposed to take 12 human ships against an alien fleet that was probably much more powerful. The odds of success were not good, but Admiral Song had been very clear about what would happen if they failed. Every human in the galaxy would die, starting with the innocent colonists on Haven Prime. "Attention all ships," Captain Park announced over the fleet communication system. "We are humanity's first line of defense against an enemy that wants to wipe out our entire species. Our weapons are untested in real combat, and we do not know how effective they will be against alien technology. But we do know one thing for certain. If we fail today, there may not be a tomorrow for any human anywhere in the universe." The human fleet engaged their faster-than-light engines and disappeared into the darkness between stars, racing toward a battle that would decide whether humanity lived or died. Behind them on Earth, millions of people went about their normal daily lives, completely unaware that their future was being decided by soldiers they had never heard of, using weapons they did not know existed. Admiral Song watched the tactical displays, showing her ships moving toward Haven Prime, and knew that everything humanity had worked for during thousands of years of history now depended on what happened in the next 2 hours. Either Earth's secret preparations would be enough to save them, or humanity would become just another extinct species that had failed to survive first contact with a hostile alien empire. Admiral Mordak stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching Haven Prime grow larger on the main viewing screen. The Vextar commander was 8 feet tall with dark red armor that showed his high rank in the Empire. He had conquered 23 worlds during his long military career and expected this human colony to be the easiest victory of all. The 12 ships of his battle fleet moved into standard bombardment formation around the small human planet. Each vessel was over 2 kilometers long and carried enough weapons to burn entire continents. Mordak had brought far more firepower than needed, but the message from Kralvex had warned that humans might be more dangerous than expected. "Prepare." The Planet Cracker's Admiral Mordak ordered his weapons officer. "We will demonstrate Vexitar superiority by turning their world into an asteroid field. No human will survive to spread stories about defeating our warriors in single combat." The weapons officer was about to activate the planet-destroying weapons when his sensor screens suddenly filled with warning signals. Something was approaching their fleet at incredible speed, but the objects were too small and fast to be identified clearly. "Admiral, we have incoming contacts," the weapons officer reported nervously. "Multiple ships approaching from several directions. They appear to be using some kind of stealth technology because our sensors can barely detect them." "Human ships?" Admiral Mordak asked with surprise. "Impossible. Our intelligence reports say they have barely developed basic space travel. They should not have any vessels capable of interstellar flight." The answer came when 12 human warships suddenly appeared around the Vextar fleet, like ghosts materializing from empty space. The Soul's Revenge and its escort vessels had traveled faster than any alien ship could move and positioned themselves for a perfect surprise attack. Captain Park Ji-hoon watched the alien fleet on his tactical display and felt grim satisfaction at catching them completely unprepared. The Vextar ships were arranged for planetary bombardment, not space combat, which gave the human fleet a crucial advantage in the opening moments of battle. "All ships. This is Soul's Revenge," Captain Park announced over the fleet communication channel. "Execute attack pattern Alpha. Target their largest vessels first. Show these aliens what happens when they threaten human civilians." The human ships opened fire with weapons that the Vextar had never seen before. Particle beam cannons sent bolts of pure energy racing across space at nearly the speed of light. Quantum torpedoes punched through alien armor like it was made of paper. Gravity manipulation weapons twisted space itself around enemy ships, crushing them from multiple directions at once. Admiral Mordak felt his flagship shake as human weapons hammered against its defensive shields. The bridge lights flickered and several control panels exploded in showers of sparks. For the first time in his military career, the alien commander was facing an enemy that could actually hurt his ships. "Return fire," Admiral Mordak shouted over the sound of alarms and explosions. "Destroy those human vessels immediately! How are their primitive weapons penetrating our shields?" But the human ships were not fighting like primitive enemies. They moved with coordination and precision that spoke of advanced tactical training and superior technology. Captain Park had studied alien combat methods for years and designed his attack to exploit every weakness in standard Vextar battle formations. The Soul's Revenge swooped past the alien flagship, firing its main weapons at point-blank range. The particle beam cannon carved a deep gash along the side of the enemy vessel, setting off secondary explosions that lit up the darkness of space. Other human ships attacked in coordinated pairs, overwhelming individual alien vessels before they could respond effectively. Within the first 10 minutes of combat, 3 Vextar ships had been destroyed and 2 more were badly damaged. Admiral Mordak watched his supposedly invincible fleet being torn apart by enemies he had expected to crush easily. The humans were using tactics and weapons that challenged everything the Vextar Empire believed about warfare. How is this possible? Admiral Mordak demanded as another explosion rocked his ship. These creatures were supposed to be primitive savages barely capable of spaceflight. Where did they acquire such advanced military technology? His science officer checked the sensor, readings and delivered news that made the Admiral's blood run cold. "Admiral, these human ships are not using captured or stolen technology. The weapon signatures and energy patterns are completely original. They developed this military capability themselves. The battle continued to go badly for the alien fleet, as human ships proved faster, more maneuverable, and better armed than anything the Vextar had faced before. Captain Park's tactical brilliance combined with superior human technology was turning what should have been an easy victory into a devastating defeat. Soul's Revenge to all human vessels, Captain Park announced as he watched another alien ship explode. "Enemy fleet is attempting to retreat. Do not let them escape. If any of these ships return to their home territory, they will bring back reinforcements that could overwhelm Earth's defenses." The human ships pursued the retreating aliens with relentless efficiency. Advanced engines gave them speed advantages that made escape impossible. One by one, the remaining Vextar vessels were hunted down and destroyed until only Admiral Mordak's flagship remained. The alien commander stood on his damaged bridge, surrounded by fires and dead crew members, knowing that his military career was about to end in the most humiliating way possible. His mighty battle fleet had been completely destroyed by a species the Empire had considered barely worth conquering. Human vessel. "This is Admiral Mordak of the Vextar Empire," he transmitted to the Soul's Revenge. "I request terms for surrender. My ship is badly damaged and cannot continue fighting." Captain Park looked at the alien flagship on his main screen and felt no satisfaction at the victory. He knew this battle was just the beginning of a much larger war that would determine whether humanity survived or was wiped out by forces beyond imagination. "Vextar Commander, this is Captain Park of Earth Defense Forces," he replied. "Your surrender is accepted, but you need to understand something very important. You came here planning to destroy innocent human civilians. That was your first mistake. Your second mistake was assuming we would not fight back. There will not be a third mistake." The Soul's Revenge moved alongside the crippled alien flagship as human boarding teams prepared to secure the vessel and its crew. Captain Park knew they needed prisoners who could provide intelligence about the Vextar Empire and its military capabilities. The war was far from over, and Earth needed every advantage they could get. On Haven Prime, Commander Hyun-woo watched the battle through his portable scanner and felt amazement at what human technology had accomplished. The same species that aliens had dismissed as primitive had just destroyed an entire enemy fleet in less than an hour. But even as he celebrated the victory, Hyun-woo knew that bigger challenges lay ahead. The Vextar Empire controlled hundreds of worlds and commanded thousands of warships. This battle had saved Haven Prime, but it had also announced to the galaxy that humanity was now a military threat that could not be ignored. Emperor Zektar received the battle reports from Haven Prime while sitting on his throne made from the bones of conquered enemies. The ruler of the Vextar Empire was ancient even by his species standards, with scars covering his armored body from 1,000 years of warfare. No military force had ever successfully challenged his authority until today. The reports made no sense to the Emperor. Admiral Mordak's entire battle fleet had been destroyed by a species that should not even possess space travel technology. 12 of the Empire's most advanced warships had been eliminated by enemies that Vextar intelligence described as primitive tool users who had barely learned to leave their home planet. "Bring me the prisoners from the human ship, Emperor Zektar," commanded his guards. "I will question these creatures myself and learn how they acquired such advanced military capabilities." But there were no human prisoners to question. Captain Park had been too smart to let any of his people be captured during the battle. The only survivors were Vexitar crew members from Admiral Mordak's flagship, and their stories only made the Emperor more confused and angry. "Your Majesty," one of the surviving alien officers reported while kneeling before the throne. "The humans fought with coordination and technology that exceeded our own capabilities. Their ships were faster and more heavily armed than anything in our fleet. Their tactics showed centuries of advanced military development." Emperor Zektar felt rage building in his chest like molten metal. The Vextar Empire had dominated this region of space for over 1,000 years by crushing any species that showed signs of technological advancement. Now, a single world species had not only resisted, but had actually defeated an entire Vextar battle fleet. "How many ships does Earth possess?" the Emperor demanded. "We do not know, Your Majesty," the officer replied. "Our sensors detected 12 vessels in the battle, but there could be many more hidden throughout their solar system. The humans showed no fear of our superior numbers, which suggests they have enough military strength to fight the entire empire." Emperor Zektar stood up from his throne and walked to the massive viewing window that showed his capital city stretching to the horizon. Millions of Vextar citizens lived in that city believing their empire was invincible. News of this defeat could not be allowed to spread, or other subject species might rebel against Vextar rule. "Send orders to every fleet commander in the empire," the Emperor declared. "All available warships are to gather at the staging area near the Galactic core. We will assemble 300 vessels, the largest military force in Vextar history. These humans will learn what happens when primitive species challenge the might of our civilization." The Emperor's military advisors looked nervous at such a massive deployment of forces. 300 warships represented nearly the entire Vextar. Navy pulled from defensive positions throughout their territory. It would leave many conquered worlds unguarded and vulnerable to rebellion. "Your Majesty," asked General Vortak, the Empire's senior military commander, "are you certain such a large force is necessary to deal with one human world? The cost of assembling so many ships will be enormous, and it will weaken our defenses elsewhere." Emperor Zektar turned toward the general with eyes that burned like yellow fire. "The humans destroyed 12 of our best ships using only 12 of theirs. That suggests they have military technology equal or superior to our own. If we attack with insufficient force, we risk losing our entire expedition and looking weak before our enemies." Meanwhile, on Earth, Admiral Song was coordinating humanity's preparation for the massive alien counterattack that intelligence reports said was coming. Captured Vexitar communication equipment had revealed fragments of enemy plans, including references to hundreds of warships being assembled for a strike against the human homeworld. Dr. Yoon Chong-soo worked frantically in his laboratory, preparing Earth's most secret weapons for what might be their final battle. The Prometheus devices were humanity's ultimate deterrent weapons, capable of destroying entire planets, but using them would escalate the conflict beyond any hope of peaceful resolution. Admiral, we have confirmation that the Vexitar Empire is mobilizing. At least 300 warships for an attack on Earth, Dr. Yoon reported during an emergency meeting of the Guardian Protocol Command Staff. Our fleet performed excellently at Haven Prime, but we only have 36 combat vessels available for home defense. The numbers are not in our favor. Then we changed the rules of engagement. Admiral Song replied grimly. If the Vexitar want to fight a war of extinction, then we will show them what extinction really looks like. Activate the Prometheus initiative and prepare for Operation Deep Strike. Dr. Yoon felt his hands shake as he realized what the Admiral was ordering. Operation Deep Strike was the most dangerous plan in Earth's military archives. Instead of waiting for the alien fleet to attack Earth, human forces would carry the war directly to enemy territory using weapons that could crack worlds apart from the inside. Admiral, that plan calls for attacking the Vexitar homeworld itself, Dr. Yoon said quietly. If we destroy their capital planet, we will be committing genocide against billions of alien civilians. Are you prepared to authorize that level of destruction? Admiral Song looked out the window at the blue sky of Earth, where millions of humans lived and worked completely unaware that their species faced total extinction within days. Her choice was simple: protect humanity by any means necessary, or watch her own people die when the alien fleet arrived. The Vexitar made this a war of extinction. When they decided to destroy Haven Prime and kill every human in the galaxy, she replied. They want to demonstrate superior firepower by eliminating our entire species. We will demonstrate what happens when you threaten a species that has nothing left to lose. Captain Kim Min-ji received her mission orders aboard the stealth ship Busan Lightning while hidden in the asteroid belt beyond Mars. Her vessel was Earth's most advanced infiltration craft, designed to penetrate enemy territory without being detected. The mission she had just been assigned was the most important and dangerous in human history. The Busan Lightning would travel to Vexitar space, locate the enemy homeworld, and deploy a Prometheus weapon that would destroy the planet from within. It was a suicide mission with almost no chance of survival, but it was also humanity's only hope of ending the war before Earth itself was destroyed. Captain Kim read her orders 3 times before accepting the mission. She was 32 years old, with black hair tied back in a military knot, and eyes that never showed fear, even in the most dangerous situations. If Earth was going to die, she would make sure the aliens paid the ultimate price for starting this. War attention, crew, this is Captain Kim speaking, she announced over the ship's communication system. We have been chosen for a mission that will determine whether humanity survives or becomes extinct. In approximately 6 hours, we will enter enemy territory and strike at the heart of the Vexitar Empire. History will remember what we do today, assuming there is anyone left alive to write that history. The Busan Lightning activated its stealth systems and disappeared into the darkness between stars, carrying Earth's most devastating weapon toward an enemy world that had never been attacked. In 1,000 years of galactic conquest, the Vexitar homeworld of Zek Prima had never known war. For 1,000 years, the planet had been the safe center of a galactic empire built on the conquest of weaker species. Billions of aliens lived in massive cities that stretched across entire continents, believing their world was protected by the most powerful military force in the galaxy. Captain Kim Min-ji guided the Busan Lightning through the outer edges of the Zek Prima system using stealth technology that made her ship invisible to alien sensors. The journey from Earth had taken 18 hours of faster-than-light travel through the most heavily defended region of Vexitar space. Somehow, the human vessel had passed through patrol zones and defensive checkpoints without being detected even once. The alien homeworld was beautiful in a terrifying way. 3 purple moons hung in the red sky above cities that rose like metal. Mountains from the planet's surface. Orbital defense platforms surrounded Zek Prima in protective rings that could destroy entire fleets of attacking ships. No enemy had ever come close to threatening this world, and its inhabitants felt completely safe from any possible danger. What the aliens did not know was that human paranoia and fear had created military technology specifically designed to penetrate exactly this type of heavy defense. Earth's weapons designers had spent decades imagining how to attack heavily fortified alien worlds, and the Prometheus device in Captain Kim's cargo hold was the result of that terrible imagination. Captain, we are approaching the optimal deployment. Zone reported her weapons officer, Lieutenant Park Sung-ho. All stealth systems are functioning normally and alien sensors show no sign of detecting our presence. We can begin the attack sequence whenever you give the order. Captain Kim looked at the tactical display showing the positions of orbital defense platforms and patrol ships around Zek Prima. Even with their advanced stealth technology, the Busan Lightning could not remain hidden forever. Once they deployed the Prometheus weapon, every alien ship in the system would hunt them down and destroy them before they could escape. But escape was not part of the mission plan. Captain Kim and her crew had volunteered for a suicide mission, knowing they would never see Earth again. Their job was to deliver humanity's message to the Vextar Empire, and that message was simple. Any species that threatens human extinction will face consequences beyond their worst nightmares. Meanwhile, the massive Vextar battle fleet was approaching Earth with 300 warships carrying enough firepower to crack planets. Emperor Zektar had decided to personally command this final assault to ensure that humanity was completely eliminated from the galaxy. He wanted to watch Earth burn as an example to other species that might consider resisting Vextar rule. Admiral Song received reports about the incoming alien fleet while standing in the command center of Guardian Protocol headquarters. Earth's 36 warships were ready to fight, but everyone knew they could not win against such overwhelming numbers. The planet's only hope was that Captain Kim would complete her mission before the enemy fleet arrived. Dr. Yoon Chang-soo monitored the quantum communication link with the Busan Lightning and felt his heart pounding as status updates arrived from deep in enemy territory. The stealth ship had successfully penetrated Vextar defenses and was preparing to deploy the most destructive weapon humanity had ever created. Busan Lightning to Earth control. Captain Kim transmitted over the secure channel. We have reached the target and are beginning final approach. Prometheus weapon is armed and ready for deployment. Tell everyone back home that we did our job and made the aliens pay for threatening our people. The quantum cascade weapon that Captain Kim carried was designed to trigger chain reactions in planetary cores, turning entire worlds into temporary stars. Dr. Yoon had spent years perfecting the device based on theoretical studies of how to destroy planets from within. It was a weapon of ultimate destruction that would make Zek Prima disappear completely from the galaxy. Deploying Prometheus. Weapon now, Captain Kim announced as her ship approached the alien homeworld. The device detached from the Busan Lightning and began its descent toward the planet's surface using gravity manipulation to avoid detection by defensive systems. Within minutes, it would burrow deep into Zek Prima's core and begin the reaction that would destroy everything on the world. Emperor Zektar was reviewing battle plans for the attack on Earth when emergency alarms began sounding throughout his palace. His military advisors ran into the throne room with expressions of panic and confusion that the Emperor had never seen before on Vextar faces. Your Majesty, we have detected an unidentified object approaching the planet, General Vortok reported, breathlessly. Our sensors cannot determine what it is or where it came from, but the energy readings suggest it is some kind of weapon system. Activate all planetary defenses, Emperor Zektar commanded. Destroy the object before it reaches the surface. How did enemy ships penetrate our outer defense perimeter without being detected? But it was already too late. The Prometheus weapon had burrowed through miles of rock and metal to reach the planet's molten core, where it began triggering quantum reactions that would tear Zek Prima apart from the inside. The process was irreversible and would be completed within minutes. Captain Kim activated her ship's communication system and broadcast a message on all Vextar military frequencies throughout the galaxy. Her voice was calm and professional as she delivered humanity's final ultimatum to the alien empire. "This is Captain Kim Minji of Earth Defense Forces speaking to all Vexatar military commanders," she announced. "Your species made the mistake of threatening humanity with extinction. You wanted to demonstrate superior firepower by destroying our worlds and killing our people. Let us show you what happens when you threaten a species that has nothing left to lose." Deep beneath the surface of Zeka Prima, quantum reactions spread through the planet's core like fire-consuming dry wood. The world began to shake as fundamental forces that held matter together started to break down. Emperor Zektar felt the floor of his throne room crack beneath his feet and realized that his empire was about to die with him. "Your homeworld will be destroyed in approximately 60 seconds, Captain Kim continued her broadcast. "This is what humans do to enemies who try to commit genocide against our species. Any Vextar ships that continue toward Earth will face the same fate as your capital planet. Choose wisely." The destruction of Zek Prima was visible from space as the entire world began to glow like a new star being born. Quantum reactions tore through the planet's structure, converting matter directly into energy in a process that lit up the darkness of space for dozens of light years in every direction. Emperor Zektar died with his world, as did billions of Vextar, civilians who had never known that their empire was built on the conquest and destruction of other species. In less than 2 minutes, the center of alien civilization simply ceased to exist, leaving only expanding clouds of glowing gas where a planet had been. The Vextar battle fleet approaching Earth received Captain Kim's broadcast at the exact moment. Their homeworld exploded. Admiral Torvak, who had taken command after Emperor Zektar's death, stared at his sensor readings and could not believe what he was seeing. The humans had somehow traveled across the galaxy and destroyed the most heavily defended world in Vextar space. On Earth, Admiral Song watched the quantum communication displays confirm that the Prometheus weapon had successfully eliminated the enemy homeworld. The mission had worked exactly as planned, but the cost had been enormous. Captain Kim and her entire crew were gone, along with billions of alien civilians who had died for the crimes of their military leaders. Commander Hyun-woo stood on Haven Prime looking up at the stars and thinking about the single combat fight that had started this entire war. His victory over Kralvex had revealed something important about humanity that the aliens never understood. Sometimes the most dangerous enemies are those who have been underestimated.